On August 29, 2005, Hurricane Katrina came ashore like 1,000 giant bulldozers and devastated the Gulf Coast of Mississippi. Bay St. Louis, Waveland, and Pass Christian were hit with a giant wall of water that crushed everything in its path. The 175-mile-an-hour winds and the 30-foot wall of water destroyed power lines, cell phone towers, and flooded the police and fire departments. The radio systems were damaged, and all official communications were down.
My task was now a mission to make sure that we kept the communications, because we found out there's nothing worked. Bay St. Louis, police repeaters, nothing. They were all gone. They were all dunked. They were all salt water.
Brice Phillips was able to communicate through the use of his ham radio and could transmit messages to the public on WQRZ, a low-powered FM radio station that he and Christine Stack created in 2003 to serve the community of Hancock County.
So we continued to run emergency traffic, for a week and a half straight. It was nonstop. I did not get maybe an hour's sleep. You know, when you're the only lifeline and have the only communications available and you're waiting to hear from some speck of somebody to chirp on there from a location so you can send that message, get it through, that's how it was for the first week. FEMA distributed 3,000 radios at every pod site in the first couple weeks to where people could get that information they need. They had some real bad floods when I was still a teenager and 16 years old, and I used to ride my bicycle everywhere, and I lived in Pearl River, Louisiana. They had floods that came in and flooded our homes, and it was kind of like a mini disaster there. I think I started because I got a CB radio, I put it on my bicycle, I put a battery on the back and an antenna, and I rode around all around the neighborhood trying to help people with supplies and sandbags and relaying messages, and we were talking to some folks up the way, and I guess that's how I started where I'm at now. It's kind of interesting. I look back at that. I didn't even think that I might get some water in the house, and I put everything up at the more important stuff started getting higher in elevation inside the house. The higher the shelf, the more important it was, and we did that last minute, just trying to shuffle things around. Had no idea it was going to be as bad as it was.
WQRZ was just a dream in 1999. With limited financial resources, Brice and his partner Christine Stack were determined to create a community radio station. It took over 5 years to collect all the music recordings and equipment necessary to operate a low-powered FM radio station. One section at a time was added over a 2-year period to complete the 130-foot antenna needed to broadcast. Finally, in January 2003, with a brand new transmitter installed, WQRZ was officially broadcasting on the air. Katrina's giant wave surge destroyed Brice's house. A 30-foot wall of water ripped his house off its foundation and destroyed everything inside. All of his computers, radios, and electronics that he was collecting for years were damaged beyond repair. The only radios that survived are what he packed in his car for use at the Emergency Operations Center. What did survive is the 130-foot antenna and the little radio shack. With the help from the Society of Broadcast Engineers and donated equipment from the Harris Corporation, a new 1,500-watt transmitter was installed in the surviving radio shack and connected to the 130-foot antenna. WQRZ radio signals are radio relayed from the Emergency Operations Center in the Kiln to Brice's house 5 miles away, then broadcast through his antenna to the community of Hancock County. Brice and Christine worked tirelessly, 16 hours a day, 7 days a week, keeping WQRZ on the air. Since their house was destroyed, they now live in a trailer at the Emergency Operations Center. 103.5 is a grassroots community radio station that is a vital part of the recovery efforts in Hancock County, broadcasting a variety of music, local interviews, and emergency management updates in a timely manner. George and Teresa Wally prepared for the storm.
On August 28th, amateur radio operator Brice Phillips hurriedly left home Phillips and partner Christine Stack scrambled to transport essential broadcasting equipment to the Hancock County Emergency Operations Center. Phillips had long believed that during any disaster scenario, low-powered radio stations can prove vital in getting information to the public.
I took my radios with me and my clothes, and that's it. And a bunch of antennas, had resources already in place. Well, what little I managed to get out in the short time I had to have there in case everything did go away.
Brice was our communications with the outside world. Brice was literally our line out. He was the first word outside of Hancock County that we had made it.
Despite harrowing conditions and technical difficulties, he began relaying life-saving information to those who stayed behind.
Brice, while the wind was still blowing 40 to 50 miles an hour, climbed a tower despite me hollering at him to get the antenna back up.
It was a week and a half before we actually got one cell phone to work.
The station continues to be an essential lifeline for the area today.
But I tell you what, one of the best things that's ever happened to us as far as communication-wise, as far as public relations-wise. We get to use this radio station to help disseminate all the stuff out to the public. And you can't ask for a better way to do it.
That's the wonderful gift of radio.
This is WQRZ-LP, 103.5 FM, Bay St. Louis.
Congratulations to ham radio operator Brice Phillips, recipient of the 2006 Give Award for Volunteer Excellence.